Coming to you live from the luxury suite on the plain of Kylum. This is Tap Tap Concede.
We're not leaving.
Yeah, no, they haven't sent security yet.
You can't make me leave. Just holding on to
We become accustomed to a certain standard of living.
Yeah, we're just
It's roomy in here.
yeah, we're just clutching on to like a pillow that looks like it's made out of an expensive liquid. Being like, no, we're staying. Right? One of those pillows that you can put on their end and they just kind of like slump.
We've been eating sandwiches without tops for days, and I never want to see 2 pieces of bread wrapped around meat anymore.
The bathtub has jets.
Jets!
And it's turning brown.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Hi, and welcome to Tap Tap Concede. I'm Cameron.
I'm Jules.
I'm Ben.
I'm Adam.
Jules is here from Wizards R&D. He worked on Battlebond on, both sides of...
Both the initial and final design teams for it. So.
Wow.
So he is Mr. Battlebond.
Yeah. He's on the poster. Everyone knows it.
It's a little bit stylized.
designed. Will was designed after you, they say, right?
Yeah, I had bleached hair at the time. It was a phase.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we've all had that phase.
The ice powers are real, though.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
Okay. Formidable. So, let's see. Bookkeeping first. This episode of Tap Tap Concede is brought to you by CardKingdom.com. CardKingdom.com, as Kathleen says, a kingdom of cards. Pay them so they pay us. CardKingdom.com/LRR is our affiliate code, and if you go there and visit them and buy product from them, they will ship singles anywhere in the world and sealed product anywhere in the United States.
Want to buy yourself a box of Battlebond? You live in the States.
Yeah.
Great place to do it from. And oh man, should you ever buy a box of Battlebond?
Yeah, actually, I was not sure what to make of this set when it was first talked about, and when I played it, I'm like, this is really good.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like they know what they're doing.
yeah, hashtag sponsored content.
He's in the room.
So, this was actually a big thing for me. Before this set, Two-Headed Giant Draft was actually my favorite Magic format.
No kidding.
But I'd only played it, after rounds at some Pro Tour qualifiers. And,
wow, okay.
Nobody plays. It's not a very well-known format. And when Sean Main pitched this idea for making a Two-Headed Giant Draft product, I was indescribably excited.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So this podcast is also brought to you by you, the viewer, over at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. You did this. Way to go. Your generous support allows us to keep on the lights, buy the internet, pay our handsome group of content creators.
Oh, that's the nicest thing Cam's ever said about us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start off the day with a compliment.
Yeah. Compliment.
You earned it.
That was kind of
I take it back.
You see what I have to work.
That's why.
That's what I get for being nice.
Yeah, that's why I get paid more.
Wait a second! That would actually surprise me. So if Cam showed me like his paycheck, I'd be like, yeah, it's fair.
No, we all get paid the same
There's
amount,
the
I
deal
think.
with Ben and Adam fee at the bottom.
So you make this all possible, and we are very, very, very grateful for that. So thank you very much. But speaking of Battlebond, do we want to roll into it and just crack a pack here?
Yeah, I think
Start some discussions, maybe?
Yeah.
All right, which one do we want? Do we want to open the pack that has Will and Rowan?
Rowan.
Yeah,
Or do we want to do the Lay Weaver and Lower Weaver?
No, we want to do Will and Rowan.
All right.
I mean, we're not Graham
that's the-
Kathleen. We don't have to do their preview.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, mythic or uncommon?
I ask myself all the time.
Yeah.
Today I'm just feeling like an uncommon.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, these are done with the rare in front
Yeah.
now, so we should go from the back.
All
Right? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So first card that we've got is Expedite.
The bottom half of many jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you can just add expedite to the bottom of a lot of card art.
Yeah. Actually, Jules was like, we should put this in our deck. And I was like, I think that card's actively bad. And he's like, no, it's good in this format. It's good in Two-Headed Giant. I was like, right.
Well,
That makes sense.
Yeah.
since you two were passing to Ben and I,
Yeah.
I was really expecting at some point for Adam to be like, "Oh, this card," and Jules to be like, "No, we tested that around a lot. It turns out it's a trap. It's actively bad. Don't take it." And like get the pack and be like,
Oh, and me and Cam were like, yeah, this guy.
"Yeah, all right," and then just like high five.
Build around, boys! It's like this build around isn't supported.
Up next, we've got a Stone Golem. This card is fine.
It was fine in our deck.
Yeah, actually a
it was
4/4, surprisingly sturdy.
But I mean, like I found that any creature, especially with like two-headed giant, because I've never played a lot of two-headed giant, but it feels like any creature like that, like just a 5-mana 4/4 that helps double block is really good.
Yeah, 4 toughness is a big deal.
Yeah.
It seemed everything was like high costed, like 3 2s kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Negate.
Yep.
So Cam and I fought with the idea of putting negate in our deck, kind of a thing, because it was the final cut.
Oh, yeah.
Now that we've played it, I would argue that
have put
negate.
in
Yeah,
negate. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely put in
There's a
negate.
lot of removal.
You forget that you're making 2 decks.
Yeah.
You have a 14-card hand, basically, is what you're looking at.
Yeah. So
And there were just some plays that were completely unanswerable without a negate, right? Like your Armadillo Cloak or Gift of Paradise.
Unflinching courage.
Unflinching courage, right, yes. Yeah, that was a big problem for us, and we wound up, I think, going like, you 8 for 3'd us over the course of the game with that thing.
Something like that.
Yeah.
yeah, it was really good. We got Giant Growth. Hell yeah.
That's a good card.
Green Pump.
Honest magic.
Yeah, so combat tricks are a lot stronger here than you're probably used to, just because with twice as many players, there are always creatures on the board, and it's rare to not have any reasonable looking blocks to then blow out with your combat trick.
Well, people are way more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Aggressive?
Aggressive with their double blocking.
Yeah.
Like there's just way more opportunities for blowouts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you're playing just one person, they're like double blocks are like very rare. It's like I'd rather not.
We should probably be talking about what the cards do too. I mean, but
Oh,
these are-
yeah. Right,
But,
yeah, for the
Giant
people
Growth.
at home.
Yeah, for those of you guys that don't know, look, fortunately,
right,
most of these
that's
are
the
pretty iconic cards. But Giant Growth is green. Target creature target creature gets +3/+3 until end of turn.
Okay.
The reason I remembered is because I didn't actually know what this card is, so we're going to read it out loud
Our
together.
first new card.
So this is combo attack. It's 2 and a green for a sorcery. 2 target creatures your team controls each deal damage equal to their power to target creature. This card is sweet.
Yeah, wow, I did not see this one. Over
We
the
had
course of
one
the
and we
draft.
never cast it all day.
Yeah.
But it's a good card.
Yep. Removal, man. It's always strong.
Yeah.
Man, this is a pack full of vanilla friends. We got an Earth Elemental.
Hey,
Yep.
actually, 4/5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is a higher pick than I think
Then
this
Stone-
usually is
Yes.
usually warranted.
Yeah. This is 3 generic mana, 2 red. For a creature elemental, it's a vanilla 4/5.
Yeah. So in this set, we tended towards a few more vanillas than you might be used to. Part of it is the boards get really complex with 4 players worth of permanents, and it's just hard to track. But
that makes a lot of sense.
we also thought that this was a great opportunity for more experienced Magic players to be able to bring in less experienced people who might not be comfortable playing Magic on their own against somebody. And this gives more opportunity to get the game flowing without having to explain quite so many things in the midst of it.
Yeah.
I never would have. That's why I'm not a game designer.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, and I mean, especially with those boards so clogged, just remembering the power and toughness as opposed to everything a card does.
Yeah.
Seems really good.
By the way, original Earth Elemental.
Oh, he's a big dumpy boy.
Oh man!
Oh,
He's just like
This looks like Goro before he got his second pair of arms.
he looks like he's just walked in on his parents.
Oh no!
That was like original. It was in the original alpha. Like Earth Elemental is way back.
Oh,
He
man.
he kind of looks like Rufus from Street Fighter 4, but in Earth Elemental form.
Yeah. It's
Like
if you don't like me at my this, you can't have me at my.
My Earth Elemental.
Look at that colon D face.
Yeah,
right? Like
hashtag Earth Elemental face.
yeah.
Finally, we know the origin.
One of the cards that I was really hoping to draft, but we didn't end up seeing, was Expedition Raptor. Support was a big deal in this.
Support was very good.
Yeah, 3 white for a 2/2 flyer. When Expedition Raptor enters the battlefield, support 2. So, I mean, first, like right off the bat, like flyers were huge.
Yeah.
Because I think Cam and I won every one. The games that we won were because we were just flying over top.
Yeah, chipping in for like 3 or 4 a turn.
Because I think we looked at it and there was like, I think there's only like 3 creatures with reach.
Yeah, well, there's Consulate Skygate, which doesn't have reach, or maybe
does.
It
It's
does have reach.
defender reach for
Okay,
an
yeah,
04.
it's an 04 defender. There's the format's Giant Spiders, only a 1/3. And then most of the flyers are like, there's Jelen Sphinx, which is probably the best flying blocker, and it's a 1/5, right? And that's pretty serious.
But there is Return to Earth in green, which I'm
I-
thinking of, it's Return to Earth, right?
Yeah. Whoever had the idea to roll every green sideboard card into one card in a format that's bet one of,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. That's where you go. That was me.
Maybe. I can't remember all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Plummet Naturalize, perfect. One card.
We got a combat trick. It's Grotesque Mutation.
Yeah, it's a good one.
1 and a black. For an instant, target creature gets +3/+1 and gains lifelink until end of turn. It was the kids that used this one on
Yeah,
you.
it got us real good with that one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I really just love that this is one of the combat tricks, because this will blow out a double block, but you'll probably still lose your creature.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this really helps to keep boards clear.
We got some good removal. Last Gasp. 1 and a black. Instant, target creature gets -3/-3 until end of
Is that
turn.
common?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. We didn't even see one. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was Last Gasp first in Ravnica?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was like, Last Gasp was like primo removal
Yeah.
in that format.
I mean, that's just a good card.
Yeah.
Instant, -3/-3, 1 and a black.
I like this art on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that hand is really good.
The thing that I kind of really like about the armor and the weapons of Kylum is they kind of have this like cybernetic vibe to them a little bit, even though it's
Yeah.
kind of just more it's magic oriented, but it looks like it's got that sort of cyber vibe to it, which I really like.
I also love the sporting arena look,
Yeah.
right? Like, you have your favorite Bond, I guess, right?
Yeah, and definitely making the set we were trying to draw on inspiration all the way from, live sports to esports, and try to get a look and feel that was
Yeah, it's cool.
blending the two a little bit.
Yeah, the
Sweet.
rainbow LEDs.
I think
Yeah.
my favorite like flavor card was that out of bounds counterspell card.
Oh yeah, it's pretty
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Maybe
It's
we-
like,
No.
We've got some pants. It's Angelic Gift. 1 and a white for an enchantment aura, enchant creature. When Angelic Gift enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted creature has flying.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah. So we have
No, go ahead.
we've got more auras than normal in this set because just as we were playing, we found it was incredibly fun to try to build up some crazy creature with your teammate. Normally, it's pretty hard to get auras into your deck. You only have so many slots for non-creature spells, and they, give you the potential to be blown out. But in a format where your teammate might be able to hold up a giant growth to stop damage-based removal, or even a negate to stop anything, and you can stack multiple +1/+1 counters and auras together, it gives you a really great opportunity to make memorable plays building creatures that no one's ever had.
Yeah, well, like what I really like about a lot of these, like Angelic Gift and like the Expedite that we talked about earlier, are that they also refill your hand
Right.
as well too. So it's like you don't necessarily always feel bad about having this in hand. It's kind of just like you get to continuously do stuff even if you do end up having it. Whoa, I didn't see you during our draft. It's Savage Ventmaw.
Oh, hey.
4 for a red and a green for a 4/4 flying dragon. Whenever it attacks, add red, 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 green, green, green to your mana pool, and until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps faces end. So you've got this mana for your turn.
Savage Ventmaw, untap, attack into Apocalypse Hydra.
Oh, magical Christmas land.
Yeah.
So one other thing we found while building this set was people were having a lot of trouble figuring out which cards to put into which decks. And so we decided to add a lot of pretty powerful gold cards to help give people some direction for how to split their colors among their two decks.
When you guys are testing, is it all internal, or do you invite people from like the outside world?
It's all internal, but Wizards is a pretty big company, so that's not just people who've been staring at the set. We also have lots of people who work on.
So like people from like the D&D
projects.
section and stuff like that will kind of.
Well, you've got did like the playtest team end up working on this, or like doing the playtest with it as well, kind of a thing, or?
Yeah, so play design is actually a pretty recent addition to R&D, and the team wasn't really formed up at the time we were making this set.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. All right, that makes sense. All right, up next we've got Juggernaut.
Jeez, that guy just keeps showing up everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. Can't stop, won't stop. I loved this art though. This was one of my favorite Juggernaut arts. It's 4 generic mana for a artifact creature type Juggernaut 5/3. Juggernaut attacks each combat if able, and Juggernaut can't be blocked by walls.
I feel like this card is actively bad in this format.
In this format, it's probably not great. Dominaria, I love this card.
Yeah.
So it's certainly a little weaker than normal here. It's regularly a really strong card, and here I would say it's okay, but does a lot of fun stuff in forcing you and your teammate into combat situations where you have an opportunity to use all your tricks.
It's also an artifact, which, I mean, when everyone was drafting, we're like, man, our second deck is kind of thin. So
Yeah,
we
we need
just
to
start
just fill it
snapping
with these
off.
colorless things.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that was, I like what you're saying too, because like, we went into this with the idea that it was going to be super grindy, and like the games were going to last long, like a lot of two-headed giant stuff does. And it wasn't. Everything kind of like moved along. People were fighting, and so like Juggernaut just adds to that. It seems like he would just continuously make fighting situations happen.
Yeah, the play was very dynamic.
Yeah. I love this card in Pauper, and it's uncommon here. It's Dragon's Breath, or Dragon Breath. It's 1 and a red for an enchantment aura. Enchant creature, and enchanted creature has haste as well as fire breathing. And when a creature card with converted mana cost 6 or greater enters the battlefield, you may return Dragon Breath from your graveyard and attach it to that creature.
Yep. We almost ran this in our deck.
It's great. I mean, it's the enchantment that keeps coming back.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, especially too with those CMC 6 or greater creatures getting haste on it, so it's just like you slam it and it goes right in.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really sweet.
Well, this on the uncommon, the Vent Maw.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right away. There
Attacking
you
for
go.
9. Just choo choo.
Yeah, I mean, like Dragon Breath is a big popper card because a lot of people run it in a Rakdos Reanimator.
Or sorry, 7, I guess. 4. It's a 4/4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because it. A lot of people play it in like an Eldrazi thing where you put down the what's the big common Eldrazi?
Crusher.
Crusher. Yeah.
Ulamog's
you,
Crusher.
You put you reanimate a Ulamog's Crusher with Exhume, and then Dragon's Breath comes right onto it. You go punch in.
Hasty Annihilator's pretty good.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Hard to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess because like normally when you're playing just by yourself, like an enchantment or an instant that adds haste to something is only marginally useful because usually you're tapping out to cast whatever your big thing is. You don't want to spend an extra mana to put out haste, but if you do that, you can cast it and then your buddy can put haste on it, and then you punch face.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a whole different thing, yeah.
And we got our rare. Our rare is War Toll. This was a card that I didn't see until like literally the day before when I was looking through Mythic Spoiler. And it's super interesting. It's an enchantment for 3 and a red. Whenever an opponent taps a land for mana, tap all lands that player controls. And if a creature an opponent controls attacks, all their creatures have to attack.
Interesting. So this is like really goozles control.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, like it's interesting because it's like it's not oppressive, right? Because when this trigger goes on the stack, your opponent can still just like tap all their lands and take that mana, right?
Yeah.
But it does force them to have to make those decisions during that phase, which is really cool.
Yeah. It goozles like reactive decks.
Yeah, kind of put all your cards on the table.
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of something we were looking to do a lot of here, which is there are a bunch of popular casual cards that people play in 60-card casual and in Commander that we haven't reprinted for a long time because they've never been good tournament cards. And in something like a Masters set, if we put cards that are exciting casual cards, a lot of the people who don't play those formats and only play competitive ones are less than happy about them.
Yeah.
But this was a great place to bring back a lot of old favorites.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Like we were talking about it before. I was asking like, is that the reason why True Name Nemesis and whatnot is in the set? Because it's like it's a card that everybody wants to see again, but it does not work in the 1v1 draft sort of format. Like this was such a good time to reprint it.
Right. True Name Nemesis is a strong legacy card because it's so hard for one player to deal with. It was originally in a Commander product where it was sort of like choose one of your opponents. So yeah, this was a really unique opportunity to get to bring it back without it just being unbeatable and limited.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. All right, we should talk about what our picks are from this.
I mean, I would snap off Last Gasp and combo attack.
Yeah, just going with like the pieces of removal.
Yeah.
I'm inclined to like. I'm definitely on Team Last Gasp. I really like Expedition Raptor, although the double white makes it a little bit tougher.
Combo attack is also very strong, and like just knowing or having played with the set a bit now, I think the Savage Ventmaw is actually quite a strong pick.
Yeah.
A 4/4 in the skies seems potent.
Yeah.
Actually, there is a really good, like especially in this pack, for example, if you take the Savage Ventmaw and you take the combo attack, the only green card is Giant Growth.
Yeah.
So you really send that signal pretty
we should
strongly.
discuss that a bit about how the in Battlebond you're taking 2 cards.
Yes.
Which allows you to signal real strong right out the gate. Like in our draft, we first picked a Shock and a
Bathe in Dragonfire.
Bathe in Dragonfire, which I think might have cut red from that pack.
It was very close to
Yeah.
it. Like it was interesting because it seemed as though like because there's 4 I guess teams on the thing, and like the cross teams that went up against each other had the similar decks and than each other, which meant that like the signals I think were pretty strong going and working with one another.
Well, yeah, I really liked how Graham and Kathleen were across from us, and we were on a blue-black and a red-white deck. And Graham and Kathleen were in those same colors, but in a different configuration. They were blue-white and red-black.
Yeah, so it was really neat. But yeah, I definitely think I would go Savage Ventmaw and combo attack on this one. Like passing the Last Gasp, I guess, is a little rough, but
I mean, I think you just plan not to be in black.
yeah, that's definitely because I don't think you're not going to see Last Gasp come back.
No.
But something that was really interesting that I just want to say that there are these 2, and then kind of talk about the set a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah. We don't even have to be like, these are the picks.
Yeah,
we can be like, there's totally an argument to be made for Last Gasp.
Yeah. One of the things that I really liked when I was editing the draft video that you guys were talking about was something that Jules said, where you're making 2 decks, right? Yeah. So when you're drafting this, you just want to pick the cards that are good, and then sort out what deck they're going to go into later, which is really, really smart. Like, I mean, evidently because you guys went 3-0.
Yes.
It was a liberating feeling when we were drafting. He's like, we just need to take. Because I'm one of those drafters that I love just taking the best card anyway. And even if it's multicolored, like we snapped off like Augury Spree like super early. I was like, we should take this right now. Because we started with like a black card. Like Liturgy of Blood was our first pick. Yeah. And then immediately pick 2 was there was an Augury Spree. I was like, we should snap that off right now.
Yeah.
And if it works out, then sweet. If not, I mean, maybe we wasted a pick, but it's not that big of a deal.
This was also one of the few times that I've seen Augur Spree in a format where the creatures actually tend to get big enough that there's a compelling argument to Augur Spree your own.
That's what Jules said. He's like, and also we could probably just, because we had
our first pick had the Plated Crusher.
Yeah. Right, yeah, we're just
like,
like
we
perfect
could
card
probably
to
just,
do it.
we probably just Augury Spree the Plated Crusher.
Yeah,
just kill
swing for
somebody.
11.
I was like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Plated Crusher is sweet. The big green hexproofy guys are so cool.
Yeah.
I was glad to see.
Yeah, they're real cool. So cool.
Here's the thing.
By the way, the hexproof interaction is interesting.
Hexproof is this thing that as somebody who green is like one of my favorite colors. Green and red are like my jam.
Yeah.
That I always feel so conflicted about hexproof because I know when I slam it, I'm like, good, I feel good about this. You're not going anywhere, and I invested mana in you. I get to reap some benefits out of it. On the flip side, I know how frustrating it is to play against Hexproof.
That's why I pick Hexproof because I know how it feels to play against them.
Well, if they got to wind up on one side of the battlefield,
rather than be on mine.
So as Paul was pointing out, there's an interesting wrinkle here where Hexproof says the creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control, so your teammate can still help it out with combat tricks.
Exactly, yeah.
And, that makes it a little bit easier to do your aura and hexproof combo, but your opponents also are going to have more blockers, so it's not quite as game over as it is in a 1v1 match.
That's why, me and Jules and I got lucky, because we had all that removal to back up the aura, the unflinching courage, but I mean, you had opportunities to double block it all day, right? It's just like...
It just happened that you guys had a grip full of removal kind of thing. For those of you who maybe haven't caught the game,
I guess we should.
Basically, what happened is Adam had played just a great old card, Primal Hunt's Beast.
Right, Primal Hunt Beast.
Hunt Beast, aka Garrick's BFF, which is a 4-mana 3/3 with hexproof. Just a green card. And they enchanted it with Unflinching Courage, which gives +2/+2 trample and lifelink.
And we just backed it up with a deck full of removal.
And so Cam and I were literally double blocking every single time you attacked with it, and every single time you guys had something to get it out of the way.
Combat trick. I think that's this has probably already been people probably already know this, two-headed giant veterans, I guess, but one deck is just a control deck and the other deck is just creatures, removal and combat tricks and maybe some creatures in one deck, and then the other deck is just what I had a support deck kind of, and then you just one player can attack and the other player has a grip full of cards. That's all combat tricks and everything else.
Right. One of the really interesting things in Two-Headed Giant is because you're playing everything at the same time, you still need the balance you're used to between creatures and non-creatures, but skewing them between the decks works just as well as having two normal-looking decks.
Well, yeah, that's quite interesting, because then everyone kind of gets to play what they want to play, right? If you're more comfortable with a support deck, playing at instant speed, then you're not just going to fold to an opponent.
I think actually one of my favorite interactions with the team play so far for Battlebond has been there's the cycle of the 6-mana assist creatures.
Yes.
That people because there's the white one, the Dwarven Lightsmith, and then we also had
the rogues.
The one that the black one that drains you. And it's really neat because on turn 3, if you're just not doing anything, maybe one of you guys is waiting till turn 4, or you've just kind of been deciding that this is what you're gonna do. Getting this out on turn 3 is really neat.
I mean, there was a turn when we were playing against you and Cam, and we both went on turn 2. Jules and I both played a 2-drop. And then on turn 3, we tried to assist out the Dwarven Lights.
Right.
I mean, you killed something in response, but it's still that's good. That's just, you get a 3/4 and your team gets pumped. You hit them for 6.
It's a pretty good turn 3.
I was thinking a lot about the assist counterspell and just being able to hold that up from turn 2 against other assist creatures, because these can, the assist creatures can really warp a battlefield early on.
We resolved that 4/4 against Dana and Rhino, I think on turn 3.
And it kind of ran the table for 2 or 3 turns.
No, 4 is a very important number, it seems in Battlebond, whether that be in the realm of toughness or power. It definitely made an impact, which is why even when there was a board full of I think 2/2s and 3/3s when Cam and I were playing against Dana and Rhino, we kept bouncing the Kraken Hatchling because it was just we can trade with all these other ones. Our things will just bounce off of the Kraken Hatchling. I guess we want that out of the way.
Also, set includes Kraken Hatchling, best card ever printed.
I love Kraken Hatchling.
The only thing missing is a trusty machete. Because Kraken Hatchling, sometimes you need to strap on trusty machete and get in there.
The old combo.
It's cool. And for those of you who don't know, Kraken Hatchling is it's a 1 blue for a 0/4 vanilla Kraken.
That's it.
Just a wee little baby.
Just block things.
Right, though it doesn't actually have Defender, so in this set with a lot of +1/+1 counters and auras flying around, you can often find yourself supporting onto a Kraken Hatchling when you have no other choice, and a few turns later, it becomes an attacker.
Yeah. I mean, with a big butt like that. Well, because there's also the artifact creature from Antiquities. The 1/4 Vigilance.
Yoshin Soldier.
Yeah.
I love this guy.
You put a couple of +1/+1 counters on it, and it just
Almost like
becomes
a
good.
real
like
card, yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
even just one, a 2/5 vigilance creature.
Pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
Also, I love the original art on this one. Like, this is good. Luca Zontini's art for Mirrodin. But yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now I know that card. Yeah. This was in I think I had when I first started playing Magic, I bought like the Ice Age starter deck, and I think this card was in it. Yeah, that totally. Yeah.
He looks like a Bionicle.
Yeah, he does. He looks like Yoshimitsu kind of.
Oh, yeah,
Like a Yoshimitsu
yeah.
alternate
Soul
outfit.
Calibur.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? You and Cam and Ben, you didn't get to really play with any, but partners were super cool because it's like even Jules pointed out when we finished making our decks and we were like doing draw sevens just to see. He's like, I think I would mulligan this, even though it was like he had a hand that was like 2-drop and then like a 3-drop, or not a 2-drop and then some lands, and like it looked fine. It was like a fine hand, but we both had our partners drawn. And he's like, oh, I would mull this. I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, because you get a free mull. First of all, you get a free mulligan. And it's basically you having that partner is me drawing a card. I was like, oh, that's cool. Man, partners are rad.
Yeah.
And you feel really, like when you open it, you're like, ooh, you get all excited. Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I feel awful, but like because Dana and Rhino had Pier and Toothy,
Yeah.
which is such a sweet combo of cards. I love these two, but legitimately every time they resolved it, it just kept getting
All of us just
all of us
killed
just,
it
like,
instantly. Pier, one or the other.
Pierre
usually Toothy.
watched his friend die.
Yeah, there's so many times. But what is very cool is I think every time they did it, they played it on turn 4. So that Dana would play Pier, Rhino would go look for Toothy and be able to play Toothy that turn as well. Which is like it has its ups and downsides, right? So the ability to instantly basically fetch for a creature and have it happen is really cool. On the flip side, I would say with Toothy, you'd probably want to at minimum have a couple of mana up to get at least a draw spell. Like you were saying yesterday, Huddle Up and Toothy are like
Best friends.
although our best friends. Although huddling up with Toothy sounds like a kind of intimidating
Pier
thing.
seems to be enjoying it right
Yeah.
now.
That's true. That's true.
He's kind of
I
cute.
mean, the idea of coming up with an imaginary friend that's a removal magnet is like a solid. Like if you're gonna
That's true, yeah,
if you're
yeah.
gonna come up with an imaginary friend, make it one that's gonna get hit instead of you.
That's true. Yeah, because I mean, like Jules and I had Sylvia Brightspear and is it Corvath?
Corvath Brightwing, yeah.
Corvath Brightwing. Yeah. These I didn't
These
think
two are
this
just
was,
nuts on their own.
Yeah, I was like, they looked okay, and then I played with it, and I'm like, wow, these are really good cards. Yeah.
A 2/2 with double strike for 3 on its own is really good,
Especially
especially.
dragons double
I
strike.
don't think you ever actually managed to keep them both on the table at the same time.
We did against Graham and Kathleen.
Oh, really?
That
Yeah.
won us the game because he drew Corvath. He played Corvath. I searched up Sylvia, played Sylvia immediately, and then I
Right, and
supported.
then you got
we
the-
hit them for like 1 billion
Right.
damage.
Right.
Right, I mean, even on their own, if you cast these the same turn, they're 10 hasty flying damage.
Yeah.
And support 2 gets you up real high.
Yeah. No, support really big.
That's why,
in this
like,
whole thing.
even during the drafting phase, when it was like 3rd pick, I saw Saddleback Lagak, and I didn't even know it was in the set, and I was like, I want to take this immediately. I was like, I love this card, and I think it's really good.
It really makes sense why the removal in this format is so formidable. Like
Yeah.
there's some spicy removal cards in this, and it's because of things. It feels like it's because of things like partner and whatnot, where there are these like very balmy creatures that can really sway
Yeah,
how things go.
exactly. We found most of the most fun moments playing Two-Headed Giant were when you and your partner got to team up to do something really awesome, and that's great, but if every game just ends immediately as soon as someone does something cool, then there's not a lot of back and forth, and it feels a little bit random. So we certainly pumped up the removal a little bit
Yeah.
to let both things happen.
Yeah, definitely.
That was like that game against Graham and Kathleen when they had that turn where they just like, they made like a 5/5 first strike flyer and a bunch of other stuff happened. They were like untapping lands. I was like, wow, this set's rad. They did all this cool stuff. And I was like, oh man.
Do any of you guys have like a favorite card that was like printed for this?
I didn't know the set well enough. I mean, I wanted to open the Planeswalkers.
Yeah, they definitely seem
Everybody
really
wants
cool.
to play the Planeswalkers.
I gotta say, I think my favorite one was that enchantment that Cam and I had.
Oh yeah,
demon
the
one.
uncommon, Demon Within.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
card's
Yeah.
nuts.
It's so
It's so
sweet.
good.
Yeah.
So it's an enchantment for 2 black, which basically reads: you enchant target creature. Target creature gets +2/+2 and flying and becomes a demon, or it adds demon to its types. But also then, when inner demon enters the battlefield, all non-demon creatures get -2/-2 until
It's a
end of
very good
turn.
card.
Yeah, it just keeps going. The text.
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, right. It's just like
The reaction of Cam and I reading this was just like, okay. And we were just like, there's no way we can't pick this
Yeah.
thing.
We have to find a home for this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was actually one of the first cards to go into the set. On the initial design team, we started by brainstorming some tropes from both real-world sports and esports. And this was a card Michael Yichow did as a top-down design for the sort of ultimate move and transformation sequence.
Right.
Sometimes
Yeah.
get-
Oh, that's so rad.
That's really cool.
I'm free now. yeah, that's basically
I love
so
that.
Cool. Are there any cards during development, Jules, that you really fought for? Like, do you remember anything? Like a card that you looked at and you're like, I really want this to be in the set, and they're like, maybe not like this. And you had to change it at all? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. I think the biggest fight was probably surrounding Stunning Reversal.
The card that won you guys a
Yeah.
game.
So, Stunning Reversal's a 4-mana instant,
Yeah.
and the next time you would lose the game this turn, instead you draw 7 cards, and your life total becomes 1, and it exiles itself. So, this card was top down for that sort of like moment where you think somebody's lost, they're maybe knocked off the stage, and exactly as you can see in the art, are grabbing the ledge and
Yeah.
pull themselves back up.
Yeah.
And so everyone on the team was super excited about this card for the whole time we were playing it. But we also try very hard to keep the color pie lines carefully delineated. And this card isn't quite doing card draw the way we normally allow black to. Black has to pay a cost for its card draw, usually their life or sacrificing things. And this card is kind of gaining you life while it's drawing you cards, but ultimately we decided putting yourself at risk of death was going to qualify as enough
Yeah,
of a
but,
cost.
yeah. This still feels black to me.
Any card that says draw 7 is like, I bet you it feels scary when you're putting it into a set. You're like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, a lot of people really looked interestingly at, like, Kamena's Awakening. When it's from Ixalan. It was just like the...
Oh, yeah.
the
It's like
mythic
7
sorcery,
mana
right?
to draw. Is it a draw 7 or is it draw...
Yeah, I think you're...
Or not
yeah,
Kamena's
yeah.
Awakening.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, the...
There's
It also has
called.
Kamena on it.
Yeah.
It's
Overflowing Insight?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, there's so many cards, man.
Yeah, draw 7.
Pay 7, draw 7. It's basically Grizzlebrand.
Basically.
cheaper.
Cheaper.
But no, I really like the flavor of like every single card. I think that's gone into it. It all does feel very like arena-y kind of a thing. Like if it's not like one of the combatants, it's like some sort of terrible beast you'd find inside the arena.
Yeah, super cool. What about your favorite card, Jules?
I think my favorite has to be Stolen Strategy.
Yeah,
I know which one that is.
it's the red enchantment,
Yeah,
right?
so this is a 5-mana red enchantment, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you exile the top card of each opponent's library, and you can play non-land cards from among them this turn, spending mana as
What?
either
That's
any color.
bonkers.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So,
Yeah.
I'm the sort of player who really, really loves playing with new situations and not knowing what I'm getting into. And so when I play Commander, I love to play with some of my opponent's cards and see how their decks
this
combine.
Is like Red Future Sight.
Man, this would have been, I mean, it doesn't really fit the flavor of the set, but this would have been the perfect set for Villainous Wealth to come back.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah.
That would have been so good. Villainous Wealth with assist.
But I really like I really like this card, and like a lot of the sort of red spells matter cards that are in this, like bonus round.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool card. I think it's 1 red for is it sorcery?
It's
or
a
instant?
sorcery.
It's a sorcery, yeah. And until end of turn, whenever a player casts an instant or sorcery spell, that player copies it and may choose new copies for it.
Jeez.
And the first thing I saw this was like, okay, well this goes into like any like, Melik commander deck or any of these like spell matters, like kind of even like Locust God or those kind of ones, because just being able to copy stuff is pretty sweet, and this effect lasts the whole turn too. So.
This is bonkers because you just cast it and target your partner, and then they just start popping off with a bunch of spells, and you're just like, oh no.
And I really enjoy all the cards that are just named for things like in the game, like.
I mean, there's a card called Play the Game.
Yeah,
That's
right.
awesome. Yeah.
Bonus round, out of bounds, like it's super cool.
Play the Game. I think that was one of the ones I wanted to actually play with too, because it does. What does it do again? I can't even remember.
So Play the Game, it's the board wipe.
Oh yeah,
6 white.
Online permanent. It has assist.
Yeah. Definitely going to be a commander staple, I think, where it's just like you just get to be like, does anybody not like what's going on here? And they're like, I don't like that, and then
I think assist cards are super rad for commander, out of bounds and stuff like that. Like, it's super cool.
So,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we definitely had some work cut out for us on aiming assist cards at commander, because a lot of the types of assist cards we have, say, common in the set, where you have sorry, I have trouble remembering what final names ended up on the cards,
fine,
but there's an 8-mana 7/5 Trampler in green.
We
with
had
assist.
him charging Binox.
Yeah.
The name. Yeah.
True. So yeah, these sorts of assist cards are great and limited, where you're working with your teammate and all on the same page, but nobody's going to help you cast this in Commander because there's nothing in it for them.
Do you have to reveal the card you're casting when you ask for the assist?
Yeah, they'll know what the spell is and what targets it has.
You can't
by
be like,
the
you want
time
to
they
assist
choose
me? I'm
whether
like,
to
sure.
All right, tap your mana first. Why don't you give it to me?
Yeah.
Right, so this sort of card nobody's going to help you pay for in Commander because there's nothing in it for them, and you're all opponents. So we looked for designs like Play of the Game, where there's a good reason for some other player to want the effect to happen as well.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Jeez, there's a lot that goes into game design that I don't even think about.
Yeah, we spend years and years thinking hard about it.
Yeah, that's true.
All the little minutia.
So it was assist and partner. Those were the 2 new mechanics, or was there
Partner
any?
with, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And partner with, in case anybody hadn't gotten or hasn't seen the notes on it, works now in Commander too. But it means that instead of being like you can partner with any other thing that has partner, the partner with one is that you have to partner with specifically the card that it's specifically with.
Exactly.
Which is really, really cool. So it's like you can't take Peer and put it into some sweet, +1/+1 counter. It's like you have to do it with Toothy. Although you can make your deck around that kind of thing.
Right.
I'm actually super interested with Peer and Toothy in some sort of like Simic graft kind of scenario, which would seem like pretty sweet.
Yeah. I mean, like, you can target yourself, right? You can have both in the same deck, and you can target yourself with the partner trigger. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
if you're not playing them as your commanders, you can just stick both into your deck too, and still get a lot of value.
Really excited to have another Chasm Skulker kind of card. Quirion and Dryad, Chasm Skulker, the Merfolk from Ixalan. All these little guys that get pumped up. Miracle Grow strategies.
Yeah.
Love them. Another card that I really loved in this was Fumble.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to Fumble is blue and 1 to bounce a creature, and gain control of all ores and equipment that were attached to it, then attach them to another creature.
Wow.
So you can blow your opponent's Troned up thing, right? As you mentioned, it was really viable and interesting strategy to build up those things. So this kind of can goozle that. But I also really wanted to fumble someone's pacified creature, or our own pacified creature.
Ooh,
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Oh. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I mean, this thing seems like it'd be, also semi-ridiculous in something like Boggles.
Yeah, well, I mean,
too.
bogs are usually hexproof, right?
Yeah,
Hard to
right.
target,
No, but like you could like rescue your own.
Oh, yeah,
too,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
Like, swap it over, like on the off chance that like you get like edict affected or something like that. You'd be like, you get to like move everything over and be like, cool. Now I sacrificed this slippery boggle with nothing on it.
Yeah.
And I moved it all over to like my Glade Cover Scout or something like that. So. Yeah, I think this. I specifically remember that because Maria was getting excited about this card. She's kind of like the Boggles player.
One thing I wanted to ask about was how the set handled getting information from your opponents, because I didn't notice a lot of like player reveals their hand and you choose a card from it. So it makes that any information-dependent control strategy a little trickier.
Yeah.
Right?
So we definitely felt like, as I was talking about with the vanillas, there was enough to track already that it was going to be hard for players, and pulled back some on
Like
stuff
duress
that was
effects,
going, right,
yeah.
going to add a bunch of extra information to the game, especially because, we don't want everyone having to whisper, but if your two-headed giant partners are discussing their strategies and you don't know any of the cards in their hand, it's easy for them to say like, oh, I'll cast this, then you cast that, and it'll be great. But as soon as you reveal some of that, it gets a lot easier to derive what they're talking about, and we didn't want people to have to stop the fun part of discussing strategy with their teammate.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like two-headed giant is so interesting to me because it's like you have to sort of convey all this information with your opponent, but then it adds this whole other level of like bluffing and whatnot to your opponents.
Yeah.
Like just to be like, well, we're going to attack, and they'll be like, no, I don't know about that. And I'm like, no, I want to have this in hand, and then your opponents go, no blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dana and Rhino got us really
Yeah,
good.
they were. Oh my god.
Cam and I remember like tried sort of to like to goof you guys where I think we were casting an assist creature and you were just like, well, no, I'll just give you all my mana. And it's like, no, you should keep it for that, that spell in your hand.
I was like, oh,
right.
Yeah,
My two, I got a blue and a black.
Yeah, I'll hold up both my colors.
And then you guys were instantly just like, well, we got to watch out for that card that they have.
I mean, you can't. Like you just can't. You just show me. Like you got to show me. You can't play in fear.
You basically do the thing that like people do in Commander, where they're like, I just need to show you how bad this hand is, and then you keep that hand so that nobody thinks you're a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm also at a disadvantage there because I'm like the world's worst liar. Right? I can't bluff.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to go to Vegas and find out if I'm actually secretly good at poker.
Yeah. You might be.
Maybe that's the thing. Yeah, it all came down to
You
that.
just haven't been in the right situation to bluff yet.
Right, yeah. It's that illusion you hold about yourself where it's like, maybe I can just walk into the karate studio and I'll be like secretly an amazing martial artist my entire life.
I get that same sort of feeling whenever I'm trying something I've never done before. I'm like, man, I hope I'm just awesome at this right away.
Yeah.
Just turns out I missed my calling my whole life.
And you either are or you aren't, so it's like 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just roll the dice. Keep trying new stuff until you find the one thing that you're amazing.
Yeah, and then quit all your other things and just do that.
Do that one thing. There we
Everybody gets one. That's what Spider-Man meant all along. But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with Battlebond. I'm probably gonna see if there's if we got time to do some events at GP
I'm
Vegas.
definitely gonna try to jam some Battlebond.
Do we want to rip that second pack?
Just to see
should.
what's going on in it.
Yeah.
We should.
All right. Let's get these cards over here. All right, you guys cool if I rip through it again? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
All right.
Yeah, smell it.
I work with these all day. I get enough.
Thanks, I'm good. I'm driving. All right, our first card. Oh man, this is a good pack right off the bat. It's Benthic Giant.
Yeah.
I
This
love
guy
this
was
thing.
a serious base for in Theros.
And definitely lends to the whole Voltron thing that you were talking about as well. I mean, not as insanely strong as it was in Theros, where we were talking about it before, where it's like in the same set you also have Nimbus Naiad to play with this thing.
Yeah.
But still some really strong ones. Oh man, I'm glad both of these guys were in here. But Peace Strider,
Welcome back.
yeah, because you had.
From Siege of Mirrodin.
Yes.
Right? Or Mirrodin Besieged. Yeah.
So you had both the Peace Strider and the Pierce Strider.
Yeah.
And for those of you on the podcast, Peace Strider is a 4-mana artifact creature, 3/3, that when it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. And likewise, the Pierce Strider is the one that your opponent loses 3 life.
Yeah.
So,
So, this set is all about pairs and what we called twosiness.
Ah,
which is
yeah.
the concept of two. You'll find a lot of the new cards have 2 heads or things like that in the art. It's the reason we have Brightwing in the set, and so getting a chance to reprint a dynamic pair like this was...
too good to pass
nice.
up, I bet.
I mean, even in the art of charging Binox, like he has 2 heads, and the flavor text is like adding a head adds to the flashiness of a creature or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 1 head, that's for chumps.
Yeah, give me 2.
We got one of the greatest blue creatures in Magic. It's Omen Speaker.
Oh yeah, this
dear.
felt so good to cast on curve.
It's 1 and a blue for a human wizard, 1/3. And when Omen Speaker enters battlefield, you get Scry 2. It's got
Scry 2 is good.
Yep, it's got a good butt. Lets you sift through your top deck. It's very sweet. Oh man, so good to see you, Elvish Visionary. It's a 1 and a green for a 1/1, and when it ETBs, you get to draw a card.
And Dana was so cute when she was like, I got the best card in this set.
Elvish Visionary. And we're like, you're not wrong.
Yeah, can't even argue with that.
smarter
Yeah.
than all of
It
us.
sees a lot more play in Modern Elves than the rest of the set does.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm actually really glad we pulled an Eager Construct, which is 2 mana for a 2/2. And when Eager Construct enters the battlefield, each player scries 2. I was super big on like the huge symmetrical effects.
Yeah.
Like the flyer, soaring show off and stuff like that. The ones that were just like,
Everyone draws a card.
So-
yeah.
Do you ever want to cast a bear that will never ever be countered?
Ta-da!
Yeah. So we were putting these in because you're playing 1-game matches, and we really don't want people getting extremely mana screwed or mana flooded, because if one teammate has nothing to do, they're going to drag the other one down with them, and then your whole game's ruined, and that's the only one you have in the match. So we definitely wanted some extra smoothing between assist, which lets you fill in your gaps in your curve, and cards like this.
Oh yeah, assist is really neat for that, because then it's
yeah.
like no matter what, even if you're kind of getting a little bit like mana screwed or something like that, you can still in some way aid your
Yeah, like
your
in
teammate.
in one match, I kind of didn't have a lot going on in my opening 7, but you had an assist card
Yeah.
that filled in curve on 3 for us, and that suddenly turned a hand with a lot of like land and a lot of high drops into a keep.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, it definitely sort of redefined what a mulligan would be in this.
But yeah, we certainly we had Eager Construct as a reprint. We started with Soaring Show Off, the 2 and a blue 2/2 flyer. When it enters, everyone draws a card. That card was the first one in the set, actually. And
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
we
I
called
love that
it
card.
Good luck, have fun, Drake. to start.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the more we played, the more cards like that we added. 'cause
Yeah.
we saw they were smoothing it out.
Yeah,
on the games.
definitely. It was great. Oh man, Reckless Reveler. It's 1 and a red for a piker, 2/1. You can pay red to sack it to destroy target artifact. And I got to do that sweet blowout, you guys, where I played the
Victor.
Yeah, enthralling Victor.
Enthralling Victor, where I stole this and then sacked it to kill your guys'
I love
Pierce
how
Strider.
in the art he's burning the Acroan horse
No.
from Theros.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Man, that was non-flavor because we were the Trojan Force.
Yeah, I just love how he's like, boing, right? It's like fast as fast can be.
So satyrs are just like Magic's frat boys,
Yeah.
Yeah.
basically, right?
Basically, yeah.
that's what
Love
we
a party.
Yeah,
decided.
just want a party.
And this card's another good example of the thing Cam was talking about with Return to the Earth, where you're playing 1 game, so you don't have time to sideboard in between, and so we wanted effects like this that do narrow but useful things to appear on cards you could otherwise put into your main deck.
That's perfectly just fine creatures. Yeah, definitely. We got a Jungle Wayfinder. It's 2 and a green for a 3/3, so passes that vanilla test right away. And when it enters the battlefield, each player may search their library for a basic land, reveal it, and put it in their hand. So more of these symmetrical effects and smoothing kind of things. Just like you said. Oh yeah, some primo removal. It's Assassinate. 2 and a black, destroy target tapped creature.
Yep.
Just good.
Art.
Yeah. Which art is this one from?
This is from Time Spiral.
Yeah, because this evokes, well, it's got Royal Assassin in the flavor text, but like I want to say the artwork is also very evocative of that.
Yeah, if you look at, I think the 8th edition Royal Assassin.
Yeah, where
it
he's
has
a very
similar pattern on the
Yeah,
face.
the mime face paint.
Right, yeah. So we've got a Sky Streamer. I thought this card is sweet. This was one that Cam and I fought about. Well, like we were deciding whether or not we wanted to go this because there were like it was between this and like 2 other cards that we ended up picking.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're probably not going to see this again, but that's fine. But
I forget what we took over this, but I think that was probably wrong.
Well, I mean, it was like I
Yeah.
think we took like this might have been like the evil twin and like one other.
Oh right.
cool thing.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
We went with like evil twin, I think, and another piece of removal, which is like fine. Either way, I think they were fine picks. But Sky Streamer is a 4 and a white for a 3/2 flyer with assist, and when an ETB's target player gains 4 life. Just all really cool things.
I like the idea of doing this in a commander game, being like, if you give me 2 mana, you can cap the 4 life.
Yeah.
Yeah, the target player is actually a pretty key part of that. That's really cool. We've got Shambling Ghoul.
Yep.
1 and a black for a 2/3.
Sure is a card.
I didn't see any of these, and I was hoping to see this one. It's the Rushblade Commander. For a black and a red, it's a 2/2. And it's a Azra Warrior. Warrior being like a major type in Battlebond.
Yeah.
Warriors your team control have haste.
Yeah.
Actually, just out of curiosity, the Azra are a brand new tribe for Kylum, and you know, I think they evoke a little bit the tieflings of D&D.
Yeah.
But
They
I guess
certainly got that demonic heritage element.
Yeah.
But
I really like them. I
They're
think
so
great.
cool. I really hope we see more of them.
Yeah, our creative team really knocked it out of the park on this one.
Yeah, no. Azra are wicked.
Yeah, and as for the warrior tribal, this changed a lot, but was a pretty early component of the set. We knew we wanted something that you could draft around and have both players' decks themed to. So we started with some instants and sorceries that would count how many your team had, but those didn't really work out because it was just too hard to get enough instants and sorceries into your deck alongside all the other cards you needed. Then we looked at Beast Tribal for a little while, but it didn't feel quite thematic enough to what was going on, and eventually we landed on Warrior Tribal to represent all the fighters in the arena and give your team a chance to really draft and build something together.
Well, what was so cool about it was Cam and I fell into Warriors. Like, we were not specifically trying to do a Warrior thing, but we just ended, we as soon as somebody passed us the...
Warrior Bob.
Yeah, the Warrior, one in a black.
Mindblade Render?
Yeah, Mindblade Render.
So like whenever you deal combat damage, if there was a warrior dealing combat damage, you get to draw a card and lose 1 life. We were just like, how deep are we into warriors? And we looked and we had like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And we were just like,
oh. Yeah,
all right.
Okay, I guess we're in Warriors.
And really, this was like one of the only warrior payoff cards we had besides like, you know, like the red Minotaur dude or the tapping white creature. But it still worked. Like, we still had that really cool synergy. So I like how just like cards you're not even really thinking of just have that warrior subtype on them. It made it really cool.
Oh, baby.
Opportunity.
Feels so good.
So 4 blue for an instant. Target player draws 4 cards.
Yes, please.
Nice and simple. It's sweet.
Yeah.
Consider grabbing this early.
Yeah.
Help your
Taking it
teammate
now.
out, maybe.
I would take it now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even think twice about it.
That's. Think Twice is also a card draw spell. Our next card is Swarm of Bloodflies. It's 4 and a black for a 0/0. It's got flying, and Swarm of Bloodflies enter the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another creature dies, you get to put another +1/+1 counter on it. This card is actually super interesting because there's a lot of cards that are just like, if a card has a +1/+1 counter on it, it does the extra thing. So the fact that it's just on its base coming in with counters is kind of neat.
Yeah, get some overlap with all of the support stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And our rare, holy moly, it's the Archfiend of Despair.
Ooh.
6 black for a 6/6 flying demon. Your opponents can't gain life, and at the beginning of each end step, each opponent loses life equal to the life that player lost this turn.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah. So this is what was that one? It's from like It's from a core set. It's the card that like it's something wound. The one.
I think you're thinking of Wound Reflection.
Yeah, wound reflection.
Yeah.
That allows you to like double up on that damage that you dealt to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of each turn, each opponent loses life equal. Yeah, from Lorwyn or Shadowmoor. I know set symbols. But this thing is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flying 6/6 rules the skies.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
opponents can't gain life, which.
I mean, 6/6. Once you hit them for 6, it's gonna take another 6 points away.
Yeah, right.
It's basically a double strike.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of double strike.
Yeah.
But
Black
also
double
just
strike.
like your opponents can't gain life thing was actually like pretty big. Lifelink was more. It had a bigger aspect to it than I thought, which was this would deal with it quite nicely.
Yeah.
All right, what are we picking out of this pack?
Archdemon. Archfiend.
Archfiend
Or Opportunity.
I mean, I want to take Archfiend and Opportunity, but I
But
think
there's also like an Assassinate.
Yeah, I think I would take Archfiend and Assassinate.
Yeah, just plant
It
that.
pains me to pass that opportunity, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, like.
I don't have your strength of character. I can't pass opportunity.
Would you take Archfiend and Opportunity?
Yeah, they're surprisingly a little bit of a combo. If they go into different decks, you can use opportunity to draw your teammate into enough lands to actually cast the Archfiend.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I think I'm with you on it. I always feel weird about first picking cards that have double mana costs. But again,
But 2 different decks.
that's the thing. 2 different decks, like you get to pick the really good cards and then sort out what deck they're going into after. That makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? on it,
I
or-
don't think so. So thank you, Jules, for being here.
Yeah,
for
pleasure.
offering us this tremendous insight into the set.
I
It's
guess-
really cool. I was surprised by it and impressed.
Yeah.
So, for what it's worth from us, good job.
Yeah, no, this
I'll pass that along to the whole team.
this was definitely the most excited I've been for like a draft sort of set in a while. Like not to say that like any of the past ones have been not good, but this one was just like it was unique. I like the fact that it was being given a whole world to it, like a whole new plane with all these really like kind of cool things going on in it. It was awesome, man. Y'all did good.
You're also an excellent guest.
Yes. Yeah, we're so
Very good.
happy
Very
to
good
have
at
you on the.
PPR, yeah. You're good. You're good overall. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Jules
Send us
Robbins.
more jewels.
Yeah. More jewels.
Hopefully we can have you again on it.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to be here. It was a total blast.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
All right. So this podcast is brought to you by
You.
You.
I wasn't sure if you were waiting for us to do the thing.
Yeah.
I suddenly forgot which one I was supposed to do first. I was like,
You could do either or.
okay, cardkingdom.com.
Yeah.
Cardkingdom.com, a veritable kingdom of cards. If you go to cardkingdom.com/LRR, that will enter our affiliate code and let them know that we sent you. Usually, we're able to say something like, if you place an order for singles at cardkingdom.com, you'll be able to put something in the field about how, Lur sent me button, please. However, I don't think we have a button available right now, but we are working on getting more sent to them. So, keep that in mind.
We're also thinking about looking at some cool new designs and stuff like that too.
Yes.
We've been talking about new cool ideas that we can put on it.
And then this podcast is also brought to you by you, the viewer, courtesy of patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun. We really appreciate your direct support of us, and you make all of this possible. So thank you very, very much. And so coming to you